What's up, guys? It's day number 67 of 119 days of link building. My name is Deepak Shukla. I'm the founder at Pearl Lemon, and we're an SEO agency based in London. And to get an additional 17 strategies that are not shared in this training, then go ahead and click the link in the description below to find out more about that. So this is a continuation of the last element, to be honest with you. So in training number 66, we spoke about image creation, link building. So please do refer to that initially. And this is a continuation of what's possible depending upon your finger on the pulse when it comes to what's happening in an industry or in the popular media and news curation, especially when done around a topic that you happen to know a little bit about or a lot, or that you're someone who is able to produce something that's noteworthy. You can fundamentally, if we take the example of Storm Eunice, you can fundamentally produce, for example, and let's close that out. As we saw here, you can potentially create a super detailed piece of content about the storm, the history, the reasons that we get such kinds of storms in the UK. Perhaps it relates to global warming, perhaps it relates to, freak weather event, but ultimately creating or combining news curation with skyscraper content and producing a fantastic piece or write-up about potentially this storm, and then linking out to the media or linking out to content writers about this is definitely a fantastic way to push the needle forward. So with that in mind, I think that one of the things that you would really consider is that producing content that's a little bit different from the bulk of the content that you'll see out there. So for example, with something like this, which is a live news event, the majority of the content relates to a little bit of a blow by blow live update as to the events and what's happening. So if you can then, for example, position yourself as an academic backbone to the writing, that could be one example. The other example that you could consider is fundamentally just curating it in a more robust fashion. So we'll talk about the academic backbone in a separate video, actually a separate training. But fundamentally, news curation is providing a systematic overview of what's happening. So if we take the county press example, what you can do is take a look at multiple news articles, identify what perhaps is missing from this, and create a master file or master write-up of exactly everything that's going on, and thereby creating the skyscraper piece of content. And then you've got a reference that you can use and link out to in terms of reach out to popular news websites just across the board, across the UK, to say, hey, here's a blow by blow breakdown that you can refer to. I thought it might be useful as you continue to write about, for example, Storm Eunice, and see where that lands you in terms of being able to generate a lot of links. So scraping the contents of Google in terms of finding the sites to talk about it, or just looking at major media press, once you put together a really solid piece about exactly everything that's happening, and then you've got a highly effective piece of news content that you've curated, and then you can reach out to the relevant publications to see if they'd be interested in referring to your source as a reference for what's happening overall. So there's different ways, or rather different niches you could do with this. The potential is endless. I'm just looking at this, but you might have your finger on the pulse in all kinds of industries, whether it's sport, for example, at the time of recording, there's the Olympics that are happening at the moment, so that could be another area. At the time of recording, there's the Russia-Ukraine challenges that are happening at the time of recording. Most specifically within the Olympics, there's the issue of doping once again. Then furthermore, there's potentially elements around COVID. And as you continue, we get a lot of ultimately ideas, as you can see. So there you go. This is a route, or your route, into news curation link building.